All right, we're going to do a short tutorial today on entering your animals into 4-H Online. May 15th is coming, it's Monday, and all of those animals need to be properly identified and entered into 4-H Online. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, and then I'm going to run through an example for you. So like I said, May 15th is coming. Don't be late. This is a hard statewide deadline. You must have all of your proper information, proper ID information into 4-H Online by May 15th. So that's for all cattle, swine, all goats, sheep, and rabbits. All need to be in 4-H Online by the 15th. Poultry also need to have those enrollment papers in by the 15th. You don't put those in 4-H Online yet. We're working on that. But for now, we're still old school. The paper form that you're used to needs to be in by the 15th. If you plan to take an animal to state fair, the following animals require a DNA sample. So swine, sheep, meat goats, dairy cattle, and beef cattle all require a DNA sample. So most of you, and I say most of you because I know there are still a few that have not gotten in DNA samples that I'm pretty sure want to go to state fair. Most of you took those DNA samples at tag day. So if you did that, you don't need to worry about it. You've got it in. If you did not pull DNA samples at tag day, you must have that in by the 15th. No late DNA samples will be accepted. So I suggest that you get your animals enrolled as soon as possible. If you haven't already done it, do it now. Get that in so that you are not panicking over the weekend when your computer shuts down or you don't have access to internet or some reason why you're going to be butting up against that deadline. So the sooner you get it done, the sooner you don't have to worry about it anymore. So I suggest getting it in right away. We're going to run through the process, and I have up here, I'm sharing my screen. We're going to use my son's account to add a mythical third goat to his account to show you how to do that. So the first thing you're going to do is log into your family account, and you're going to pick the member that you want to add an animal to. So I've picked Lucas here, and it'll pop to the screen. That's his profile screen. And from here on the left, you're going to want to go to animals. So we're going to go to animals. We're going to click there. Then it's going to pop up this screen, and you can see we've already put in his 2 goats that he's going to be showing this year. They are already there. They've populated. They're showing what we already have, and they're showing active. Okay, so those are the 2 goats he's already got. So let's say we were going to add a third animal for him. So just like you would do adding your animal, you're going to go over here to the right. There's a blue button with add an animal, and you're going to click on that button right there. It's going to pop up this screen. Okay, this is a pop-up screen, and you can see it's possible that you've got previously added animals. We do not. Those would be animals from previous years that are still eligible to be shown. So things like does, right? Goat does, boar does, pygmy goats, that kind of thing. The animals that can be shown more than 1 year are going to be over here, and you can pull them into the current year from this screen. To add a new animal, though, on the left, you're going to see add new animal, and there's another blue box here, and you're going to click add new animal. All right, then you're going to pick the animal type. First off, you'll notice that both of these fields are required. So any of the fields that have the red word required next to them, you must have those filled in before it will let you advance to the next screen. All right, so we're going to go to the drop-down menu. There's a drop-down menu for animal type. We're going to come down to meat goats, okay, for this particular example, but you would choose yours. And meat goats do not, meat wethers, they don't require a tattoo. So we don't have those animals tattooed. So we would put in, because it's a required field, right? We've got to put something there. So we're going to put in a county tag number. So 60, and we're just going to say 000 for purposes of example. All right. So if you don't have a tattoo on your animal, you can put in your county tag number. Okay, that will duplicate somewhere else, but that's okay. And then you're going to click continue down in the bottom right. When you get to this screen, this is the questions screen, and you're going to have to take a look at the questions here because there are required questions. But on this first cover page to the questions section, I would take the time to read through this. There is some good information here. For instance, this is reminding you that all livestock exhibitors that are exhibiting beef cattle, dairy cattle, swine, sheep, meat goats, dairy goats, poultry, and rabbits are required to take Indiana 4-H quality livestock care training, or YQCA. So these are the classes that I have been teaching here in the extension office. I've got one more. So if you are exhibiting one of these species and you have not yet taken your quality care training, you have one more chance to take it in person with me here in the extension office, and that is a $3 class. If you can't make it to one of the in-person trainings, you're going to have to take YQCA online. Okay, so very similar to what you've done in years past. You're going to go onto the YQCA website and take the course online. And I think if it hasn't changed, that's a $12 class. So it benefits you to get here in person if at all possible. Like I said, one more is going to be available this year. That's going to be June 6th at 6 p.m. here in the extension office. So if you haven't let us know already, give us a call, send us an email, a message of some sort to let us know that you're coming or planning to come to the June 6th training. For those of you that take YQCA, you need to provide the office with a certificate that shows you've completed it. So when you complete that course online, it will allow you to either print out a certificate or take a screenshot of a certificate. I'm perfectly happy with a screenshot. If you want to send me that, you can just email me that, scan it in, whatever. But I need to have some sort of proof by certificate that you've completed YQCA if you're not coming to one of my in-person classes. There's more information here on this page, some information about the premise ID. So everyone should have a premise ID. If you don't know what that is, then you probably need to read this paragraph and go to this website and get yourself a premise ID. There's good information here about State Fair exhibition and a reminder about DNA collection. All right, so after you look through all the information on that page, you're going to click Show Questions. All right, so at the top of this page, there are some fields that are not required. You do not have to put in an animal name. You can if you'd like. You don't have to put in a beginning weight or beginning weight date, but if you came to tag day, you probably have those, and I would go ahead and put them in there. It's the only way you're going to be eligible to for rate of gain. So that rate of gain award that the barns do, you must have a beginning weight and the date, which would be the date of your tag day, entered. What is required is your animal's birth date. So you're going to choose a birth date. I'm going back up here. Hang on. I'm just saw a random birth date for a goat might be, let's just pick January 17th. Breed. So for this animal, it's going to be a boar. And it's a county raised, yes or no. Again, how you answer this question determines whether or not your animal is eligible for the County Born and Bred Awards. So we're going to put yes, this is a county raised animal. DNA collect. We're going to put no on Lucas's goat because he does not take his goats to State Fair. So we're going to put no there. and we're going to put no at intends to show at state fair. If, however, you do intend to show at state fair and you press yes, you must have yes pressed up here, and I must have that DNA in the office by the 15th, by Monday. All right, here's where you're going to put your premise ID. Okay, again, this is an example, so I'm just going to put in all zeros here, but you should have a premise ID that you obtained from the Board of Animal Health. Okay, once you have a premise ID, as long as you don't move, because the premise ID is attached to the location where those animals reside. Once you have a premise ID from BOA, you won't ever need to change it, right? It stays the same always. If you move and start housing or start housing your animals somewhere else, that will change as well. Okay, RFID number. Not all animals were tagged with an RFID tag, but you'll notice that this field is required. So if, like Lucas's goat, you do not have an RFID tag, you can put 15 zeros because an RFID number is 15 digits long. So 15 zeros will place hold this for you and allow you to move forward. So one. Okay. Scrapie flock, if you have scrapie tags, if your farm puts scrapie tags in, or you bought it from a breeder that uses put in a scrapie tag, you can put that there. It's not a required field. Gender is required. So our goats are wethers, so male. Tag, again, this would be your county tag number. For purpose of example, I'm gonna just do the 60 zeros. So 60,000. And you can see we already have that in as its tattoo on that front page of this. So that's going to duplicate. If it is an animal with a tattoo, it's going to be different. You're going to have the tattoo number here and a tag number here if it has a tag number. Tattooed animals sometimes don't have those. All right, then you would just click next. And it's going to go to this page that is the summary page that you're going to review. So you're going to review all the information that you put in. So if you had information up here and beginning weight date, you would want to look at that. You want to make sure that the birth date is correct, make sure all of these fields are correct, and then you're going to click submit. I'm not going to submit this because this is a pretend animal, so I'm going to delete it. And that'll pop me back out. But that's a really quick overview of how you get an animal in. So important, back on that field where it asks you about, I'm going to stop sharing, where it asks you about whether or not you're going to state fair. If you think it is at all possible that you're going to state fair, hopefully you already pulled DNA, okay? It is much easier to say, yeah, I think that this animal might go to state fair, and then go ahead and mark yes, and make sure you've pulled and submitted your DNA, and we have all of that covered. It's easier to do that and not take it to state fair later than, 5 weeks down the road, you decide, oh, I wanted to take that goat to state fair, but you didn't properly tag it. You didn't take the DNA, and you didn't indicate in 4HOnline that you were going to state fair. You can't, right? You won't be able to. So you need to decide by the 15th whether or not that animal might go to state fair. Hopefully that makes sense. That is it. Okay, it's really not that hard to get your animals in. If you have questions, we were experiencing some phone issues, so I appreciate the patience as we were going through that, but our phones are working again. We are having a bit of a glitch. Before, if you called in and we were on the phone, it would just ring to one of our other lines. Sometimes it's not doing that now, and you either will get cut off or a busy signal. So if you get that, just wait a minute and call us back because the lines are working, but we might just be on the phone. Okay, so do that. You can email me, jlabrell@purdue.edu. Some of you know, and you'll know now, but Terry has decided that she's got a lot going on and is not going to be able to continue as our office manager. So she's no longer here. So do not send emails to Terry's email address. But Bree Davis is our new summer intern, and you can send emails to Bree. Bree's email is davi1881@purdue.edu. Okay, so for now, you can email either myself or Bree with questions, right, about your animal ID, entering that into 4-H Online. All right, that's all I have for you today. So hopefully this helped. And if you have any questions, absolutely get a hold of us. So thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll see you soon.